17, William Smith, and set 5 was 15-13, William Smith. I honestly thought in that 5th set that Clarkson was going to do it. They really did a good job. They did not look like a 13 and 14 team. They really played like they like they deserved to be here. You could see the confidence from that win over Skidmore, kind of carrying through here. But they played a very, very good William Smith team. And Clarkson, they had a really, really tough non-conference schedule, played in a lot of tough tournaments, hence a 1-6 neutral court record for the Golden Knights. They went to Walla Walla, Washington, and played in a 4-game tournament. And, those tournaments really make you better. I've talked to Ithaca head coach Tara Stillwell about it. The tougher the non-conference schedule, the tougher the tournaments you play in, the more you'll be prepared for conference tournaments. And Clarkson really showed that. But William Smith, they're a gritty team. They weren't going to go away. And in that 4th set is really where I saw William Smith have a sense of urgency. They cruised out to a solid lead in that 4th set, and Clarkson came back, but still an 8-point victory. And in set number 4, 25-17 for the Herons, and well coached. Coach Derek Williams really embodies the spirit, and I think the winner of this Ithaca and RIT game, they're going to have a run for their money tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the championship game. And William Smith, in just their 3rd season of existence, could take home a Liberty League championship.
And what an accomplishment that would be for them. I mean, even though it was a 5-set battle, and Clarkson really gave them everything that they had, in terms of the really valuable and important statistics, William Smith outplayed Clarkson. They had more points than Clarkson, 107-98, meaning that the sets that they won had a larger margin of victory. They had 13 more kills. They had more total attacks with 7 more. They had 10 more assists. They had 3 more service aces. I mean, just totally really controlled the game in terms of those statistics. And I think as the game progressed, it really became clear how William Smith got to this point and why they are a really big threat to Ithaca or RIT. So in terms of William Smith, Johnny, who do you think were the really big factors in terms of William Smith pulling this out?
Well, first, I want to talk about the statistics. And you look at the statistics, and yeah, on paper, William Smith looked significantly better. They had the advantage, like you said, in service aces and total points, but Clarkson looked really in control on the floor. And you have to tip your cap to Clarkson, because at points, and I would say in maybe 75% of the game, the Golden Knights look like the superior team. And I thought that even though that 2nd set, Clarkson lost by 7 points, I thought that Clarkson could have gone on to a sweep. That's how good they looked at points. And I know this is tough for head coach Carol LaMarche and her squad, but she has to be proud about what they did in this game. It was really an incredible performance. And for William Smith, the players that got it done, I mean, Delaney Williams was absolutely phenomenal. The first-year setter from Central Catholic High School in Oregon. She really did a great job. And you also have to look at Malaya Sayer, the junior from Illinois. She 25 kills. She was really good, in the net play from William Smith was really significant. And William Smith, I think one thing that might be a little overlooked is the Herons were a little bit cleaner serving the ball tonight than Clarkson. So Ithaca's going to have a challenge, or RIT is going to have a challenge in the next round, because if you have a team that serves well and gets a lot of service aces, that's dangerous. And William Smith really was good on clean serves today, and that was a big key.
So Clarkson's been eliminated from the Liberty League tournament, and they're very likely that their season is over. But what can they take away from this matchup going into 2025?
You can play the tough teams. You really can. You look at the season as a whole, you're the 3 seed with a 5-3 Liberty League record. So the overall record might not look that appetizing, but you look at the Liberty League play, and if you can compete well in conference, that's what matters. Because, yes, you could go undefeated and play in the toughest tournaments and whatnot, but you get into the Liberty League tournament, that is what is going to punch your ticket to the NCAA tournament. So you need to have a good conference season too. So for Clarkson, they're really showing that, hey, we can play William Smith, someone who has established themselves the last 2 seasons as being an elite team, and we can beat them and we can play at the level of these higher teams. Because I don't think with all due respect to Clarkson, I don't think anyone, a lot of people in this building thought that Clarkson was going to take William Smith into 5 sets or look as good as they did today. And Clarkson really outperformed everyone's expectations, and that is a lot to be proud of, and a young roster for Clarkson. So a lot of these players will be a lot of their stars will be back next year.
Right.
Potentially some seniors will be back for a grad year. They are losing their libero Abigail Spector, and she was a very emotional player on the floor. And you see in volleyball sometimes the emotion of one player can carry the emotion of the whole team, and we saw that with Spector, and really well done by Clarkson.
Do you think that this 5-set battle is more of Clarkson really putting their all and playing up to their potential? Or is William Smith possibly looking past this semifinal matchup and thinking about the championship? Did they underperform?
I think both teams were equal. I don't think it's really a matter of overperforming for Clarkson or underperforming for William Smith, but it was really that these 2 teams knew, hey, this is the Liberty League tournament. Our season could be on the line. So I think it was really both teams rising up to the moment. That was really what it was in my opinion. But I don't think this is too concerning for William Smith looking ahead to the championship. I don't think there's too much to be concerned about. There's a little bit to be concerned about. I mean, like what head coach Derek Williams going to pick apart. They were a little outplayed at the net sometimes, and Clarkson did a lot better job offensively with the assists and the passing, the internal stuff. I think that's going to be what needs to be fixed. But you look at it, there's not a lot to be concerned for William Smith, and they just need to be well rested because 5 sets is exhausting. They're lucky that they don't play the championship game tonight and that they have about 18 hours to rest before tomorrow, but William Smith has got to be prepared tomorrow because both of these teams are very good teams and teams that could potentially make the tournament, whether they win the conference championship or not. I think William Smith has the best shot in the conference if they lose the Liberty League championship to get an at-large bid, and Ithaca and RIT is going to be a great matchup.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the second semifinal that's going to be happening really soon, a little under 30 minutes. Ithaca against RIT. What do you expect from these 2 teams today?
Well, RIT had to play earlier in the week. They're the 5 seed with a really good record, but a so-so record in conference. They beat Union in a 3-2 in a 5-set game. So that gives them a little bit of confidence, and their head coach Jim Lotus has been there for 20 years, so he has a lot of experience. And for Ithaca, it's head coach Tara Stillwell's rookie season as a head coach, and 20-6. Ithaca had arguably the toughest schedule in the Liberty League. They played in a tournament where they played 3 top 20 teams, and they even played the #1 overall team in the nation in Juniata. So Coach Stillwell's squad is is fired up. They're ready to go. For RIT, they're going to be tough. Ithaca beat them 3-0 here at Ben Light Gymnasium just a few weeks ago. So I think both teams, I don't think we're going to see another 5-set thriller, but I think we're going to see a very competitive game where both teams really play to the level of the moment.
All right, well, we are looking forward to the second semifinal right here at Ben Light Gymnasium. That is going to do it for our post-game show. For Johnny Lisi, I'm Morgan Spriggs, saying so long for now. Have a great rest of your day.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh my God, Sarah. The clock is at 16:05.
I will say, I'm very glad you're on the ball first.
13, yeah.
Terminology again. Yeah. Like, I've got first touch, second touch, attack, yada yada. I'm here trying to.
Okay. So, wait, Sarah. So, how is there? What's the next? How long is the next song?
Well, I was wondering. You feel like you need to say everybody name, but realistically, you can say like one name for like. That's what I was trying to get everybody, and I heard your call, and I was like, oh,
I think running promos would be better because they only have just about 2 minutes until they start. Does that work? Okay, they're ready to go in 90 seconds. play one more, and then we're ready to go.
After an all-time Liberty League semifinal matchup between William Smith and Clarkson, we welcome you to another Liberty League semifinal matchup here at Ben Lake Gymnasium. This time with the home team Ithaca Bombers and the RIT Tigers. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jonathan Falco, joined alongside Morgan Spriggs. And Morgan, after a flair with William Smith barely escaping with a win over Clarkson, do you think this game could even match up with the one we just saw?
I think it's really tough to do so. I mean, it went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. William Smith outdueled Clarkson in most statistical categories, but Clarkson gave their all and really showed how great of a team that they have been and can be in the future. And so I think both of these teams have a lot of talent, but Ithaca has clearly owned RIT as of late. But Ithaca has not lost a set to RIT since 2021. It has been a streak of dominance. It showed again this year with a 3-set sweep over the Tigers this season. And so I think for the Bombers, what they're looking for is don't mess around here.
You're absolutely right. You can't overlook RIT. They have the underdog status that Clarkson had just a few moments ago, facing off with a top team in William Smith, bringing it to 5 sets. An incredible performance for Clarkson. They have no reason to keep their heads down. Honestly, they should keep their heads held up high for the offseason and in preparation for next season. Let's talk about the stars of this game. Let's start with the home team, the Ithaca Bombers. Who are some of the players that stand out to you the most, Morgan?
Well, I think when you think about standout players, it starts with Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu. She is an all-around player. In terms of digs per set, she is 3rd on the team. In terms of blocks, she ranks really highly there as well. Offensively, she's also proficient. She's really an all-around player. She is 2nd in kills behind only Naomi Klaus. She has 260 kills compared to 274 kills for Naomi Klaus. Her spikes are ferocious. She constantly brings the energy and she brings the leadership to this squad, and she's going to be a massive factor. She is one of those players that you can build a program around. Another player, especially on the defensive side, Ellie Benedict. In terms of digs per set, she has a 3.91 mark, and she was a really, really great player for the Bombers because she knows how to keep possessions alive. She knows how to steal points. She knows how to keep the sets going. And I think she's going to be really, really crucial for the Bombers to win the semifinal matchup today.
You're absolutely right, Morgan. And you mentioned Naomi Klaus. We also get to mention Faith Sabadia, 191.5 points on the year, 173 kills, 2.86 points per set. An incredible season for Faith Sabadia as well. But let's jump over to the underdog, the RIT Tigers. Earlier we saw underdog go toe-to-toe to the top team in the William Smith Herons, forcing them to battle it out in a 5th set. If the Tigers want to come out on top in this one, who are some players that need to shine?
Well, I think it's got to start with Mia Gerber. Offensively, she is the leader of this squad. In terms of points per game, she has 328 points per game. She has been incredible. She also leads in, she actually top 3 in points per set with 2.76. And then kills, she leads the entire team in kills. She's the only one with over 300. So she's going to be a huge factor. She needs to rally her team around this mindset of, listen, we can do it. We have a great team. And I think it's going to show today.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Morgan. And another person to mention on this RIT team is Kat Vento, 2nd in the Liberty League in blocks, leads the Liberty League in the hitting percentage side of things. So definitely another person to look out for on this on this underdog of a team in the RIT Tigers. Let's talk about conference play. For Ithaca, the Bombers are undefeated in conference play this season, going 8-0 this season, have yet to lose to Liberty League competition this season, an incredible feat. How important is that for their confidence heading into this matchup?
It's incredibly important, Jonathan. I mean, it gives you familiarity with the teams that you're going to be seeing in the Liberty League tournament. I mean, against RIT, it was a 3-0 sweep back on the 1st of November, and the Bombers just got better as they went along. The second set was 25-12, and then 25-21. Even though they start slow sometimes, they always finish strong. And then William Smith, who just won the semifinal matchup against Clarkson, it was a 3-2 thriller out in Geneva on October the 16th. So I think it's not just about, it's not just about winning the games, but it's about the familiarity with these opponents. And with that being said, it is incredibly important that the Bombers know how to pull out victories, even when, starting the game in the first set, they're not necessarily playing their best. They know how to make plays, they know how to execute. And it's shown this season. They beat William Smith, they beat RIT, and those are the two teams that are standing in your way of a Liberty League title for the 3rd straight year. Yeah, no, I just think that the Bombers are really, really experienced, and even though Tara Stillwell is only in her first season, she's really, really kept the tradition of strong play, especially in conference.
You're absolutely right, Morgan, and especially beating William Smith earlier in the season proves a big factor if they were to go past RIT. Again, you mentioned familiarity being important, and if they were to beat RIT, another familiar opponent in William Smith who they've already beaten on the season, and are already familiar with how they play and what they need to do to beat them, that's certainly an important factor of this game. That being said, we need another factor of this game. If you were to narrow it down to one person for the Ithaca Bombers, Morgan, who do you think will emerge as the MVP?
I think it'll be Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu. She is an all-around phenom. She plays with a lot of heart, she has a whole lot of talent, and she knows how to set up her teammates well. I'm going to go with her for MVP. She is electric. When you're looking at the floor, you know exactly who she is.
Yeah, Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu, one of the most important parts of the Ithaca Bombers and why they're so good. She's 4th in the Liberty League in total amount of kills. She's had an incredible season so far, and not just the stand-up for the Bombers, but one of the stand-ups of the Liberty League. So it's obviously, it's not like a surprising pick, but it is the right pick. And I can't disagree with you there, Morgan. I think she's my MVP for this game too. If on the Bombers side, let's hop over to the RIT side one last time. Who do you think will emerge as the MVP for the Tigers team?
That's a really good question, because I think that RIT really plays well as a team. They're really cohesive, and they really know how to battle. Even with Ithaca, even though they didn't take any sets, they've really, really played them very well in that first set in their matchup in the regular season. I'm going to go with Haley Blixt. I think digs are going to be so important in this matchup, because it means, when you're about to lose a point, you have somebody step up and keep it alive. Haley Blixt blows everybody out of the water in terms of digs per set on her team, 4.16. She's the only player defensively on RIT who has more than 3 digs per set. She has more than 4. She is such a factor for RIT, because if they are able to upset Ithaca, I think it'll be her, and how proficient she is in the dig game, that will be a massive, massive part in if RIT can pull off the shocker.
You're absolutely right. They say defense wins championships. Well, in this case, defense could bring them to a championship.
Precisely.
If RIT were to win this game, get a golden opportunity to face William Smith in the Liberty League Championship. Same goes for Ithaca, being the top team, or one of the best teams in the Liberty League in general, emerging as the #1 seed in this Liberty League conference. But that being said, I have to ask you, what are your predictions for this game? Who do you think will win and how many sets?
It's tough, because I think with the streak that Ithaca has gone on against RIT for the past 3 years, they have not dropped a set. And so I'm tempted to say it's a 3-set sweep, but I'm not going to do it, because I think RIT will actually take the first set, because the Bombers have shown over the season that even though they eventually come out, feeling great about themselves because they got a win, oftentimes it's the first set that is the most difficult. They have trouble starting games. So I think that RIT will win a really close first set, but then the Bombers will settle down and take the next next three. So I think it'll be 3-1 Ithaca going to the championship game.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on the 3-1 ordeal in favor of the Ithaca Bombers, but it's very interesting that you mentioned that RIT takes that first set because you're gonna catch Ithaca potentially off guard. But if you're RIT, and hypothetically you do take that first set, you don't want to go overconfident heading into the rest of the game. That can cost you big against dominant players on the Ithaca Bombers team, like Naomi Claus, like Gabriela Gonzalez Abreu, like we mentioned, and a bunch of factors heading into this game. But that is going to do it for this pregame show. That was Morgan Spriggs. I'm Jonathan Fago. We're going to send it to Parker Hollandsodder and Matthew Giavoni with the call for this Liberty League semifinal matchup, only here on VIC.
Heard.
Liberty League playoff action continues here on the South Hill as the Ithaca College Bombers get set for their first Liberty League playoff game of the season. They're taking on the RIT Tigers. 4 versus 1, an exciting matchup after William Smith and Clarkson just a few moments ago wrapped up. They went to 5 sets in a very highly contested 5th set where William Smith took the win and eventually won that game 15-13 in that 5th set. And just a crazy game from William Smith. They're going to be tired, but they're getting set up for tomorrow as they're awaiting the eventual winner of this game to be their opponent. And Parker, what should we expect from these two teams? A little bit of deja vu for us too. We were on the call for the same two teams just 2 short weeks ago.
Well, first of all, let's welcome everybody into VIC Radio and Ben Light Gymnasium. Matt Giavoni, you're the host, alongside me, Parker Hollandsodder. We're here on a lovely Friday afternoon, the eve of the Cortica Jug game over in Cortland, over at SUNY Cortland, pardon me. But we're here right now, Ben Light Gymnasium. So excited to be here. But to answer your actual question, yeah, we were here on the call just a couple days ago. It was a little over a week ago. This same game, Ithaca got played tough by these RIT Tigers, a very competitive team, and they just absolutely scrapped it out against Union College in order to get to this place where they get to fight the absolute best team in the conference.
Absolutely, and a little bit more on that first game that we saw just a few moments before this one got started. We're going to send it down to the third member of our crew, Andrew Roberts, down on the sideline. Andrew, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. Well, earlier today in this very gym, William Smith and Clarkson took each other on in the other semifinal, and the Herons advanced to the championship with a 3-2 win, meaning the winner of this Ithaca RIT game will take them on tomorrow at 2 p.m. William Smith's win was on the back of 31 points from Malaya Sayre, who leads the Liberty League on points per set this season. However, Clarkson gave them a really close one as this went to 5 sets, and the final set was tied at 13 before William Smith won consecutive points for the victory. The Herons will be competing for an NCAA auto bid and a Liberty League title tomorrow, and at 22-5 in receiving votes, they could have a shot to make NCAAs either way. Back to you, Parker and Matt.
And Parker, clearly some excitement here in Ben Light Gymnasium. Both of me and you were in attendance for that first game that went to 5 sets, and a lot of exciting back and forth. You couldn't get a grasp on which team was going to win that one, and this one, a very similar first set to what we saw basically all game last time that these two teams squared off, that me and you were here at Ben Light Gymnasium, where Ithaca got started a little slow, something that they've struggled with all season, and something that they're definitely going to want to pick up here in this game.
And when we talked to Coach Tara Stillwell earlier this week, she talked about the fact that those slow starts have been really bothering her. She really has been getting on her team about the need to start and keep going about as aggressively as you can get, because they are more talented than pretty much every other team. They have a deeper roster than pretty much every other team that they're going to face. But if they get sloppy, if they don't continue to execute, but weirdly, if they also don't keep having fun, they're going to struggle, even against a team like RIT that they should beat in 3 sets.
And talk about a team that has a lot of fun. Ithaca, there's stories that come out all the time about what this team does, maybe before the games even start in the locker room. And Parker, I'll let you take this one, because we learned some pretty interesting stuff about what Ithaca does and their little pregame ritual that kind of brings the vibes up.
Well, you talked about most of it. Right before the game started, with about 10 minutes left on the clock after warm-ups, we saw the entire Ithaca roster go to their locker room, and their coach, Tara Stowell, as well as her assistants, stayed on the floor. That's because the leaders of the team, the captains, lead the team through a little bit of a dance party to stay loose, stay about as hype as they can get, listen to some music that you can't listen to in the gymnasium, and just get themselves about as locked in as you can get while still staying loose and still having that fun and that high energy that you need to play at the highest level that this Bombers team is capable of.
A team that feeds off of good vibes, and that's very apparent if you've ever seen them play live in Ben Light Gymnasium. They're always dancing on the sidelines, just having a really good time. And tonight, the first of what they're hoping is many conference games that eventually leads to NCAA playoff games down the line. Ithaca, off of a very strong season, they've been ranked basically the entire season, and they're looking to continue playing these strong opponents tough and getting past opponents such as RIT that on paper should be a little bit weaker.
Well, as Andrew talked about just a little bit ago down on the sideline, this is a game that the winner is going to go on and play William Smith and the Herons, and that is a team that is not only playing very good volleyball at this point in the season, they played a scrappy, tough set against the Clarkson team that was incredible on defense, but they're also playing with a lot of joy. We heard in the previous broadcast, if you joined us on the Ithaca College Athletics stream, they flap around in a circle because they are Herons. They have a lot of fun. They're also dancing on the sideline. This is a team of women who love each other over on the other side, and if Ithaca want to beat them, they first have to get over these RIT Tigers, and they have to do it very efficiently and take advantage of an opposing team tomorrow that will be very, very tired.
Very, very tired indeed, and that's something that Ithaca, we talked with Coach Stowell, they don't play into extra sets a lot. Majority of their games swept, and a couple they've been swept, but the majority of their games this season, they've had three set sweeps.
Yeah, let's run through it, because in the first set of a game, they're 20-6. In the second set, they're 21-5. In the third, they're 17-9. If they go to a fourth, they're 3-3. They struggle a lot in those fourth sets, and they end up getting forced to 5 more than they would be comfortable with. They are 2-1 in fifth sets, but if you ask Coach Tara Stowell, she does not want to get to that point today.
Coach Stowell down there having some words with RIT head coach Jim Lotus, who has been coaching for a very long time. If you heard the postgame, Johnny Weesey talked about it. Jim Lotus, one of the most experienced volleyball coaches in the Liberty League, and he knows Tara more maybe as a player than as a coach, because he was coaching RIT back when she was a player on this Ithaca Bombers squad taking them on.
Tara Stowell knows her way around the Liberty League just as much as Jim Lotus does. This is his 20th season in the program. He goes from 1991 to 1995, then rejoined the program in 2010 and has been their coach ever since. He's exceptional. He is the winningest coach in RIT history with 408 wins to 358 losses. They were actually the Liberty League champions the year that Tara Stowell was a senior in this Ithaca program, that they lost in the semifinals to Clarkson. Very interesting. We're going to get into Tara's history a little bit here, Coach Stillwell, pardon me, as we get deeper into this game, because she has more championship pedigree than more of most of these very decorated Ithaca Bombers on her team.
Absolutely, just an amazing player, and she's been an amazing coach as well. As we get set to get started here, and both teams just having a little bit of a breakdown as we start.
They made one last substitution just to get ready to go, so that's going to be Anaya Prince hitting the bench as they get their starters out. Matt, take it away.
Just a little bit of a delay there on that last substitution, but they got it done as Haley Blixt to get started, the libero for the RIT Tigers. She'll get it started here first. In our Liberty League semifinals, the Ithaca Bombers and the RIT Tigers. Blixt to serve, left cervix line. Blixt gets it over. Benedict with the dig. Set up by Slavin, just tapped over by Sabatier. RIT other side. No attempt, doesn't go, blocked. Faith Sabatier, Ella Graper got in there as well.
That was absolutely beautiful. That was back-to-back plays by Faith Sabatier, getting those long legs under her, springing up with all that force. She's been exceptional for this Bombers team ever since joining it. The knock against her has been health and consistency, but she's been great.
Flat foot serve from Graper, set up by Neff. Tried to tap it over, was Cox, goes back RIT's way. Blixt. That one's sent over for the moment. Ithaca's got to get it over here. Gonzalez Abreu sends it over. RIT, kill attempt. Costa sets it up. Gonzalez Abreu once more. Blixt doesn't go for it. Sent back over by Vento. Slavin with the set. Sabatier couldn't get it over. And that'll be RIT's first points of the night.
I want to point out early on, Julia Costa is on the hardwood right now. She's starting for the Bombers today. There have been concerns about her health coming into this game. You and I theorized, Matt, that Coach Stillwell would hold on to her and save her as a bench piece for the championship. No, she's getting full reps today.
Coach Stillwell wants as many of her players to be as healthy as possible. Anaya Prince gets it past the block for her first kill of the night.
Beautiful. Not much to add there. Anaya Prince has really come alive these last couple weeks of the season. She had a large number of kills. I don't have it in front of me, but she was the leading killer I remember in that game against RIT last time. She could be a force today, and Coach Stillwell wanted them to be more effective across the middle.
Peyton Miller, service ace for the Bombers. She's been good at those this season. Peyton Miller sends one over once again. Blixt to Neff. Sent over. Bombers recover. That was Miller. Gonzalez Abreu into a block. And how about Catherine Vento getting started early? We saw her with a hot start, but goes, unfortunately for her, out of bounds.
That right hand,
watch out for her.
That right hand of Gonzalez Abreu is a cannon. It is an absolute howitzer.
Blixt up to Neff. Slammed down, and the block isn't able to work. Goes off of their hand, out of bounds. Macy Jawafi.
Now that's something to look out for in this game. The block game is going to be incredibly important. RIT outblocked Ithaca 7-3 last time they faced off in Ben Light. Ithaca wants to be better defensively.
And Parker, we talked about those slow starts. Ithaca trying not to get into those. Gonzalez Abreu slams it down, but a bounce off the net, it goes out of bounds.
Was that off the net? It looked like a hand to me. I don't want to criticize, but there were some criticizing from Clarkson and William Smith of the officiating in the previous game. Not going to claim anything here.
Sent over. Benedict, Slavin, Gonzalez Abreu taps, and not able to recover is Catherine Vento.
That's one of the best things about Gabriela Gonzalez Abreu. She is so controlled. She has that absolute howitzer on her right shoulder. That being said, she has control, and she is one of the smarter players in all of the Liberty League when it comes to choosing her moments.
Gonzalez Abreu to serve. She sends it over, and just a little too far for her. We've seen how strong she can get, and a little too much mustard on that one.
I am going to resign right now. That was announcer's jinx at its finest. I will just be quiet, everybody.
Vento sends it over for the Tigers. Gonzalez Abreu, first touch. Benedict. There's Naomi Claus, her first touch of the night, and it's saved for the moment by the Tigers. Sent back over. Gonzalez Abreu, another dig. Slavin with the setter's dump, and she got it. A little bit uncharacteristic there. Gabriela Gonzalez Abreu with a dig, and then Wesley Slavin, the one that gets the kill.
Well, not totally uncharacteristic. Gonzalez Abreu does have 186 digs on the year. Let's not undersell her defensive capabilities.
It's just tough with how much offense she gives. As that one, they call it out. So Mia Gerber just barely not able to get it within the line. Benedict, second straight serve. Ellie Benedict sends it over. Not able to handle is RIT. That'll be a service ace for Ellie Benedict.
And that's the service ace leader of this Ithaca Bombers team. She had 44 coming into today, only 25 errors. She is who you want handling the ball if you're Ithaca.
Ellie Benedict sends it over one more time. They called out but played it. Going back over, Benedict. Free ball, just at the net. Slavin, Claus. And that goes a little too far.
You said a little too much mustard. Claus had a little bit too much under that. It went to the near side, out of bounds. Just a little too much. Could have been beautifully painted, but got under it just a little more than expected.
And the Bombers, we've seen this season some lethal accuracy, but a little bit too far, and maybe part of that slow start that they're trying to avoid. Graper, though, she got that one in. And they missed her when she was out earlier this season with an injury.
Well, we've talked about that. The depth of this Bombers team is exactly what they love so much about being on a team together. Everyone can step up, but you got to be honest, it's nice to have Ella Graper back.
Slavin to serve. She sends it over. Set up by Neff. Slammed down for the moment. Benedict. Slavin. Fake Sabatier touches it over. Blixt with the save. Sent over by Cox. And they call that one out. Cox not able to get it in.
Klaus almost had a hand on it. Luckily, it hit the net and went away from her, so she didn't end up touching that against Ithaca.
Wesley Slavin to serve. Slavin sends it over. Dig in the backcourt. RIT, one more touch. Over. Benedict. Slavin to Graper. Blitz sets it up. Slammed down. And the whistle sounds. They're going to call the point in favor of RIT.
What happened there, Matt?
I was ready for Claus to get up there and slam it down. I didn't even see if maybe there was a net violation on the Bombers, but
I didn't even see a signal from the officials, so they just blew it dead. I must have missed something.
Definitely an off-ball penalty, as Claus didn't do anything wrong there. Tried to slam it down, but the whistle blew before she was able to touch it. Sent over now by RIT, and that one's sent just a little too far by Mia Gerber.
RIT has struggled with service errors. They have 261 to their opponent's 250. They are giving away points a little more than a championship contender should.
Hotter start here than the last time these two teams squared off. 11-6 in favor of Ithaca in this first set. Julia Costa now set to serve. Costa sends it over. A little bit of a mistouch, has to get it over, they do. Benedict, Slavin, fake Sabatier, and they're not able to handle on the RIT side. Sydney Neff couldn't get a hold of that one.
Powerful dig out by RIT. Attempt almost came up to visit us here in the press box. It's a wide berth here in Ben Light Gymnasium. That had the height on it, almost came all the way. Now there's going to be a timeout called for RIT.
You know how much power Faith Sabatier is getting on that when it goes off of Sydney Neff's hands that far. And I believe Andrew Roberts, the third member of our crew, has something down there. Andrew, what do you got for us?
Thanks, guys. Well, after 8 years under Johan Dofer, Tara Stillwell is in her first year as head coach of this Bombers team, but she's no stranger to the South Hill. While she did spend the 2023 season at Cornell, she was an assistant under Dofer before that and worked primarily on the recruiting efforts for the team. It's led to some of the young talent the Bombers have on this team today, like their two leaders in points per set, sophomores Naomi Klaus and Gabriela Gonzalez Abreu. Now Stillwell is back to coach them. Back to you, Parker and Matt.
And Johan Dofer just still such a influential figure on this team and of this team. He was actually here in their home opener in the Bomber Invitational way back when, towards the beginning of the season, and the transition has been very smooth for head coach Tara Stillwell, who goes from a 27-5 record last season to their 20-6 right now, but still many games to play if they're able to stay on the path that they want to stay on.
She's very much still coaching this thing her way. That being said, she has a lot of talent that she's inherited. She'll get to bring in her own recruiting class. We saw her talking about it a little bit earlier this week. She's very excited to continue building this program, but she inherited something pretty darn special.
Julia Costa sends it over. Neff. And it's not able to go from Macy Jalafi. Blocked by Ithaca. Ella Graper. Again, we're going to keep hammering it because they missed her blocking ability, and Tara Stillwell has not been shy about saying that.
41 blocks on the season. She's been electric.
41 blocks on the season and hasn't played nearly as many sets as a lot of other players on this team, as Ithaca gets it over. Once again, Julia Costa for another serve, now 14-6 in favor of the Bombers in this first set. Costa takes some bounces. Dribbles. Left service line. Costa gets it over. Blixt. Doug. Neff. To Jalafi. Sent back over. Neff. Jalafi again. Sent up for the moment by Costa, but nobody from the Bombers was able to get to that one.
I thought that was going to be one of those classic Julia Costa. That's why she's the captain digs. She got under that beautifully when it should have been a kill immediately. Ends up being a kill anyway for RIT, but an almost excellent play for Costa.
Julia Costa has that leg wrapped up, but still playing like the player we know she could be. Set up by Slavin Gonzalez Abreu, and she goes a little too far there.
The trajectory's just been a little off tonight for Gonzalez Abreu. That being said, it was in the first game of this, let's call it season series against RIT. She struggled in the first 2 sets, really came alive down the stretch.
Haley Blix to serve now for the Tigers. Looking to get back into this first set a little bit. Blix sends it over. Costa with the dig. Set up by Benedict. Gonzalez Abreu, a little bit of a light touch. Neff. Vento with a big swing. Ithaca not able to recover.
If you want to beat this RIT team, you have to stop Kat Vento. She is absolutely electric. Had 8 kills last time against Ithaca on just 14 total attacks. She's efficient and she is lethal.
Blix sends it over. Costa to Slavin. There's Graper right into a block. But it goes out. Vento got up there and got the block, but just goes a little too far off of her hand. A big swing from Ella Graper. Ella Graper now to serve. Flat foot serve from Graper. Blix sets it up. Jalafi doesn't get it over. Back up other side now. Cox. And Costa is able to dig it. Slavin to Gonzalez Abreu. That one goes past the block. And it takes a lot of guts to get up there and try to block any kill attempt from Gabriela Gonzalez Abreu.
Excellent attempt at defense, but that's what Coach Stillwell wanted. She wanted to punch through the block if you can't get around it. RIT is a good defensive team.
Graper sends it over. Neff to Cox. Cox with the light touch. Slavin now to Sabatier. Saved for a moment, but off the ceiling.
That is something that we talked a lot about with Coach Stillwell, and we finally get to bring it up. Benlight Gymnasium has a very unique ceiling. It's by far not the lowest that Ithaca's played, but it is definitely one of the weirder ones. Their lights are a problem. They busted one out in practice. We saw one busted when William Smith took out Clarkson, and now RIT's taking their second time out.
And Parker, there's a ball in my eye line that's stuck up in the ceiling. So sometimes the balls don't even go down completely as we work through the timeout here. Ithaca in many different huddles. RIT all down in the same huddle there as Coach Lotus trying to get his players back into this first set. They're down 17-9. Ithaca on top in this first set of this one.
Speaking of locked-in coaches, Matt, during the middle of this first set, we did see a little local celebrity walk in. The Ithaca football team is here, as always, supporting local athletics. But Coach Michael Turper and his young daughter just came in a little while ago, are sitting right below us, actually, alongside Athletic Director Susan Bassett and a couple other high-profile Ithaca characters. But he's here to cheer on some fellow Bombers before the Cortica Jug match tomorrow.
And Parker, let me tell you, I personally am excited for your halftime conversation with him on the call on WICB tomorrow for the Cortica Jug.
What a shameless plug, Matthew. That being said, I appreciate it, and I am terrified, although I am also excited for it. It's going to be a fun game. Well, that being said, let's lock back in.
May not be on the call, but as many plugs as I could get in as possible. Still take pride in my producing for that.
I'll throw you out of this press box.
As Ella Graper gets set to serve once again. On the far left service line, Ella Graper sends it over. Gerber gets it up. Blix second touch. Jalafi can't get it over. Block again. Anaya Prince. Slavin. Gonzalez Abreu. RIT trying to recover. Have to get it over. Gerber does. Costa to Slavin. Prince. It gets blocked, but Slavin once again. Gonzalez Abreu. That time she got it, and they roll it in.
Considering that was a rally, I don't think that could have been dominated more by Ithaca. I think there was 3 blocks, maybe 2.5 if we're being mean, in a single possession to Anaya Prince, and then Gonzalez Abreu just slams it home twice but gets 1 point out of it.
Talk about Slavin getting low there on those blocks. She gets low again on a dig there. Sabatier sends it over. Gerber back in. Blix has to get it over there. Cox, Slavin, Gonzalez Abreu with the touch, and she gets it down. Ella Graper, another serve. Ithaca up 10 now, 19-9 in this first set. And a much hotter start than the Bombers got off to last time they saw the RIT Tigers. Graper sends it over. And sharp eye from Blix.
Hairline call definitely went the right way, though. Graper service error.
How about Blix there, just being able to recognize that one and make sure that she didn't touch it and put a ball in play that they definitely didn't need to. Jada Lee now for the RIT Tigers sends it back the other way. Costa to Slavin, Sabatier, and Blix couldn't handle.
Faith Sabatier, she is 10th in the Liberty League in hitting percentage, even though she had a skid about halfway through the season, as her coach pointed out. She's been absolutely electric. She's a very efficient hitter. You're not going to see her take a lot of total attacks, but if she does, it's probably going to get home.
In comes Peyton Miller. We've seen her be strong on the service line. Anaya Prince almost pushed that one down. Jalafi, and that one goes out. Good try from Jalafi, but off her back foot just put a little too much power on it.
I'm just realizing I want to show some more love to this RIT team, but they're down 21-10 right now. They are going to need to reset. They're out of timeouts, and if they don't find a way to get something going right now, it could end up being a very short, very long night for them.
Peyton Miller sends it over. Gotten up from the moment. Jalafi back over to the other side. Miller to Slavin. Anaya Prince gets it down. The accuracy to find the hole in the defense there from Anaya Prince, second to none.
The Bombers have total control of this game right now. Of their 22 points, 12 are off of kills. Their offense is humming right now.
Peyton Miller back over. Blixt. Neff. And Vento can't get it over. Ithaca up 23-10 now, looking to finish this one out. Peyton Miller. On the right service line. She's just waiting for the whistle here. Peyton Miller all ready to go. She sends it over to Blixt. Neff with the setter's dump, but Miller gets up there quick. Gonzalez Abreu now on the other side. Neff, Jalafi. Costa digs. Slavin sets, and Gonzalez Abreu tries to kill. Blixt can't handle, they can't get to it.
Mia Gerber took a tumble at the end of the play there. An excellent rally from RIT trying to get there. Gerber almost got her right fist under it to try to punt it back over. Wouldn't have had enough control over it. Tumbled over her teammate. Good news is everyone looks like they're okay after a minor collision.
Peyton Miller trying to end this dominant first set here. Have to get it over here. Blixt sends it over. Benedict to Slavin. Anaya Prince. Just barely out from Anaya Prince. That call could have gone either way. Yeah, or no, they reversed it.
They reversed it. Okay, I was gonna say I didn't necessarily agree with that one, and I don't want to be the guy who just criticizes officials, but that was definitely a lovely right on the line. You know that tennis replay where you see the trajectory of the ball and the shadow of where it ended up? That looked like it was right on the line. You just get to that little bit of shadow on it. A beautiful kill from Anaya Prince, who was electric last time, had 8 kills. I found it against RIT last time. I did lie, though. Gonzalez Abreu had 12 on that game because she's Gabby Gonzalez Abreu.
Original call in favor of the Tigers, but the secondary replacement call for the Bombers. They take that first set 25-10, and with that, we're going to send things down to our guy on the sideline, Andrew Roberts. Andrew, what do you got?
Well, thanks, guys. Big reason that the Bombers won that first set 25-10 was because of their star blockers up front, namely the trio of Ella Graper, Faith Sabatier, and Anaya Prince. Graper and Prince, the top 2 in blocks per set this season. Graper with 1.03, Prince with 0.81. And on the day today, Graper has 1.5. Sabatier has half a block as well. They have just been a dominant force up front there. Graper, in addition, tied for the lead in points for the Bombers today. She has 5, so it's been a great effort by that trio up front, and then Gonzalez Abreu and Naomi Klaus also helping out with some kills in the back. Back to you guys.
Well, thank you so much, Andrew. Everybody, if you're keeping score at home, flip your boards. Ithaca's going to be hitting right to left in the second set. RIT going left to right. The Tigers dropped that first set 25-10, and now Ithaca owns all the momentum. Matt, what do you think Jim Lotus is telling his team they need to do better to stay in this game going into the second set?
Well, Parker, I think it's really about the blocks because we saw them get a couple blocks in that first set, but they weren't really taking advantage after that. Wesley Slavin was doing a really good job getting low, getting digs, and keeping Ithaca in sets. I think they want to be a little more concise with their blocks because Ithaca's been hitting into them so far, which is what RIT wants to do, but unfortunately for them, they just haven't been able to finish those sets.
It hasn't been a very defensive game despite this being two very defense-focused teams. Coach Terrence Stillwell told us that RIT is a very defensive-heavy team in terms of how good they are on the block, how good they are across the middle, and Ithaca obviously is a team absolutely loaded with defensive specialists and a bunch of people who could be a singular libero. That being said, they don't have a singular libero because they have that many great defensive players.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm looking for Catherine Vento, who got off to such a hot start when we saw these two teams face off in the regular season. She had a couple of kills in that first set, but didn't really get involved with the blocks, and she's somebody that I think Coach Lotus wants to step up here, especially on that defense.
Yeah, Kat Vento's great. She has the best hit percentage in the Liberty League, so they're going to keep using her offensively, but she also leads this team in blocks with 111 total. She can be absolutely electric. She can take over a game, and I don't want to say you just feed your best player the ball, but that might have to be what happens. Give her the amount of touches that Ithaca gives to Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu. See what happens. So now Ithaca's and RIT are taking the field once again. No serious substitutions, but Ellie Benedict back on the hardwood for Ithaca as long as Wesley Slavin. It's about all the starters that you can expect. Ella Graper also out there. RIT bringing back in everybody that you expect. Haley Blitz giving out the high fives, trying to get her team hyped back up and locked back in. And it's going to be Julia Costa back to serve. Gets the signal from her coach. She's on the right side, going to take a long walk up on this. Dribbled a few times. Here's the serve. Delivered cleanly across the net. It was going to be out of bounds, but RIT takes it. Hits across the net. It's dug out by Ithaca. Benedict on it. Touched across, and that is a beautiful soft contact kill from Ella Graper. Gets just a little bit under it and nails it down. RIT doesn't have anyone in the area.
And Ella Graper, you can't say enough about what she brings to this team. And Coach Stillwell wants those middles to get a little more involved in the kills. She's been good tonight.
Costa keeps the serve. Delivers. It's across. Would have been out of bounds again, it looks like, but RIT fields it, sends it back across the net, and it goes out of bounds. An attacking error for RIT. Macy Jolliffe would have had a kill for herself. There was no Ithaca in the area. That being said, couldn't get it inside the lines. So it's going to be Costa again to serve. She's up and delivers. This time it was beautiful. Set by RIT. They're going to look across the net. Soft touch. Reset by Ellie Benedict. Hit by Gonzalez-Abreu into the net. That's going to be an attacking error, her first of the day. Ithaca, I believe, their first attacking error of the day. It's been a very clean day so far. Pardon me, that is their fourth attacking error on the day. Regardless, been very clean considering they have 27 total points on the board.
And we haven't seen them send a lot into the net. It's been more sending it too far.
Service from RIT back across. Ithaca looking for the attack. It gets blocked at the net, and it gets blown dead. It was called a block. It hit the antenna. Ithaca gets, RIT gets the point on a lovely attack from their team. They're going to get to serve. It's going to be back again. Haley Blix, the captain, and the libero. Here's the serve, left to left. Ithaca keeps it in the air. Here's the attack from Gonzalez-Abreu. It gets tipped by the block and hits the dead center of the hardwood. That's a kill for Gonzalez-Abreu, and Ithaca's up 3-2 in this second set.
And I know Catherine Vento and Samantha Cox's fingers are vibrating a little bit. They just got their fingertips, but that was a hard hit ball, and that must have hurt just a tiny bit. Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu put a lot of power on it.
Ella Graper in service delivers to RIT, and in just 3 touches, they spike it down. Julia Costa could not get under it, and that's going to be another kill for RIT.
Julia Costa, really this whole defense, something that Tara Stillwell says, even with how impressive they've been this season, something she wants them to improve in a little bit is that hesitation. She says she has so many playmakers that sometimes they hesitate thinking somebody else is going to make the play, and she wants them to just go for it every time.
Jada Lee in service, but Ithaca returns beautifully. A soft touch by Wesley Slavin. You don't see her taking a lot of attacks, but she just popped it back over the net. There was no one in the center of RIT's court. They were expecting something a lot bigger.
Basically hit the bullseye with that one. Just put it in the middle of every defensive player that RIT had.
Peyton Miller to serve. She's going right to right. Bopped back over the net, and a mistake. That is going to be a kill for Sydney Neff, the other captain of these Tigers. She bops it over. It gets caught up between Gonzalez Abreu's hands. She ends up accidentally knocking it to the ground. Kills the point for Ithaca, and we're knotted up at 4. So it's going to be Macy Jolliffe back to serve. She delivers right to left. It's going to be set back up by Ithaca. They're going to fake the attack. Bopped over by Gonzalez Abreu. She goes south to north, crosses the whole court with a floater, gets it down. RIT could not adjust in time. It's going to be another kill on the board for her.
Parker, I can't say with 100% certainty whether that was planned or not, but that was a beautiful play, no matter what, for the Bombers, just making something out of nothing.
Gonzalez Abreu on the serve, delivers down the middle. RIT looking for the attack, finds the left corner off the block, and it goes down, hits the deck. I believe that was Mia Gerber on that attack, sending it down, and they're going to get the ball back. We're once again tied. It's 5 apiece.
Yeah, Mia Gerber, a little bit of a curveball on that one. It looked like it was going to go way far, but it just curves down and hits inbounds.
Kat Vento on the serve. Ithaca delivers an attack, goes out of bounds. Like you said, Matt, a little too much mustard from Naomi Klaus. Hasn't been her night so far tonight. That being said, she currently leads her team in kills. I'm guessing it's just a matter of time until she locks back in. It's going to be Kat Vento back on the serve for RIT. Ithaca fields it cleanly, looking for an attack. Floats it over the net again. Double touched by RIT, but it stays alive. That being said, Ithaca kicks it back over. RIT fielding, trying to set up an attack. It's floated over. Nobody home. Lilo Gerald Amisi absolutely smokes that one. Not a lot of fire on it. Wasn't super fast. That being said, found the open spot. A beautiful hit by her.
Yeah, that one didn't need to be fast. She was just able to put it in the open spot perfectly.
How about that for finding an open spot perfectly? Anaya Prince. That time, a lot of fire on it, smokes it down. RIT tried to dig it out, didn't get under it enough, couldn't get any control. That goes out. Ithaca gets possession back. It's going to be 6-7, but RIT has the lead. Benedict to serve. RIT digs it out, setting it up. Back over the net, Ithaca takes it back. It's going to be the setup. Ithaca slams down again, but RIT digs it out once more. RIT sending it back across, but it hit the antenna. It's going to be an attacking error on, or pardon me, yeah, it's going to be an attacking error on RIT. Ithaca gets possession back, and it is knotted at 7. We are tied once again, and it's going to be Ellie Benedict back to serve. Service delivered. Set back up by RIT. They bop it over the net in just 2 touches. Ithaca resetting, looking for the attack. Don't find anything. It gets down. Naomi Klaus knocks it down. It gets dug out by Macy Jolliffe, pardon me, but she hits it right into the net trying to play the ball.
Yeah, Jolliffe didn't have an easy one there. She had to almost lay out for it and just wasn't able to put enough control to get it over the net.
Benedict serves to Jolliffe. She sets it back up. A rally at the net all of a sudden. Multiple touches at once, but RIT ends up losing the exchange. They can't get control back. And now RIT is going to take a timeout down 9-7 after giving up 3-4 straight points. So we're going to send it down one more time to our guy on the sideline. Andrew Roberts, what have you got for us, buddy?
Thanks, guys. Well, it's back and forth history between these two teams. This season series is nearly split all time, with Ithaca leading 38-33. However, that lead has really been built over the last few years. Over the last 3 seasons, Ithaca has won now 13 consecutive sets against RIT, including today, bringing their season series lead from 1 game to the 5 it is right now. It's a new era for Ithaca volleyball, and Coach Stillwell hopes that will continue tonight. Back to you, Parker and Matt.
Andrew, thank you so much. Ithaca's only given up 3 sets to Liberty League opponents all year. They've been absolutely dominant against their own conference, electric when they need to be there, undefeated in conference play this year as they look for another Liberty League championship. They have been excellent. They've won the last 2 in a row. After not winning a bunch back when Coach Tara Stillwell was still a player, they couldn't win a championship, yet they still made it to the NCAA semifinals. That's how good this conference used to be, Matt.
Yeah, and they had a lot of success, as you mentioned, in those playoffs that they were able to make after not being able to win this conference, and they're looking to do that this weekend. On paper, should be able to do it, especially with how tired out William Smith should be after that 5-set match against Clarkson just a few hours ago.
Bombers take the court again with a very offensive-focused lineup. A couple setters, a couple absolute cannons on the outside hitters, and they get a service ace from Gabby Gonzalez-Abreu. Knocks it right into RIT, who can't field it cleanly. Pardon me, that was a service ace for Ellie Benedict. She's going to serve it again. Fielded cleanly this time by RIT. They go for a slam, but it's blocked. Keep it alive, RIT does. It's blocked again. Back-to-back contact at the net for Ithaca. A couple assists, but we'll give that credit to Naomi Klaus and Ella Graper getting up, getting high contact at the net, stopping 2 potential kills from RIT. So it's going to be Benedict back to serve again.
Yeah, let us not forget Ella Graper before she got hurt. Top 10 in the country in blocks per set, and she's making her presence known.
Ellie Benedict serves, sets it back up, and now it's going to be contact off the block. RIT will pick up another point off of a blocking error from Ithaca. They send it out of bounds. That was going to be Wesley Slavin, who got in front of it but knocked it out of bounds in the process. So it's going to be Sydney Neff back to serve. She's up, makes high contact, tries to get some heat on it, but it's fielded cleanly by Gonzalez Abreu. Kicked back over by Graper. RIT fields it, looking for an attack, fakes it, and they end up getting it. Samantha Cox jumping up off of the fake, the decoy, Lilo Gerald Amisa, ended up getting Ithaca's attention enough that it gets driven home by Cox. She gets the point for RIT. It's 11-9, and they're going to serve it once again. It's Neff, fielded by Benedict. Here's the attack attempt by Miller. Whistle dead, and it goes in favor of Ithaca. We see the symbol, we see it given for 9. I believe there was a net violation by Gerald Emisa, pardon me. So Ithaca's going to get to serve again. Now it's Slavin off the rotation. Delivers across the court, fielded cleanly by RIT. Kicks it back over, Ithaca gets it, setting it up. Blocked by RIT, but it goes out of bounds. It's going to be a blocking error by RIT. I believe that was Mia Gerber got in front of it and ended up sending it out of bounds by accident.
Yeah, Parker, we've seen that a couple times tonight where the Bombers are just hitting those kill attempts so hard that the blocks just aren't working out for the Tigers.
Slavin with a service ace. She sends it home, and now the Bombers are up 14-9. RIT just called a timeout to try to get their momentum back. Now they're down by 5.
I don't know if you picked it up, but I just out of the corner of my eye, somebody has a giant ace card in the stands that they hold up every time the Bombers get a service ace.
Well, let's see if they hold it up again. There we go. We see it again because Slavin gets her second in a row. I believe that is a parent. No, I think that's a little brother of one of the players holding up a giant ace that looked like of diamonds. If it was up to me, I'd make it with the Bomber logo, but that's just me.
I believe it's an ace of diamonds, and just a funny little tidbit there. You see sometimes giant blown up posters of heads of players. They've got a giant ace card there, and they've been able to pull it out a few times tonight. The Bombers have been very good at the service line.
Bombers, they struggled with service a lot of the time. That was something else that when we talked to Coach Stillwell, she was very certain that they needed to be better at if they wanted to win a championship and get back and compete in the NCAA championship. They struggled against ranked teams this year. They're still a very competitive team. They gave Juniata, the number 1 team in the country, I almost said the world, all they could handle. That being said, they still got swept, and they just got swept to a worse team on paper than in Cortland just last week. This team still has things to improve on, but this is a massive step up for Coach Tara Stillwell and her offensive attack.
And going back to that game against Cortland, because on their record, some of these losses, you look at it and you see, oh, it's a ranked team, it makes sense, or oh, it went to 5 sets. The sweep against Cortland, Coach Stillwell says it's simply just the team wasn't able to execute enough on the game plan that she came up with, something that they've been hammering going into these playoffs, and something that they've really been able to execute tonight as they try to continue through the Liberty League and eventually into the actual NCAA playoffs.
Bombers staying offensive. It's Graper and Sabatier up at the net alongside Kloss. And it's going to be once again Wesley Slavin to serve. And it's going to be another service ace off the hands of Samantha Cox. She couldn't get under it properly. I believe that's 3 in a row. Absolutely electric from Wesley Slavin, the Bombers' leading setter, leading assist champion. It's going to be her once again. Delivers. Can she get 4? It's called out. The streak ends at 3. Just tickled the line a little bit past. Blown dead. What can you do?
It looked like it was about to be 4. That was, I think they got the right call for high
right.
2-point overhead, but it looked like it could have been very close.
Definitely the right call. Definitely a close call. Mako now on the serve for RIT. It falls right in front of Gonzalez Abreu. She was on one knee, but didn't get her trajectory right. Mako got a little bit of spin on it.
Slavin's not the only one that could get service aces, and Gonzalez Abreu just misread that one a little bit.
16-11 in favor of Ithaca, but RIT with control. It's going to be Mako to serve once again. Dribbles, delivers, Cross court, it's going to be set up by Ithaca, looking for the attack. Slam down, Naomi Klaus. Now she's found her rhythm.
And Parker, Naomi Claus, as you mentioned, got off to a little bit of a slow start tonight, and something that Coach Stillwell told me a little while ago is that Naomi Claus, when she's having a tough time in practice, she'll actually go off to the side and do some cartwheels to get herself back in the right mindset. Obviously can't do it during a game, but she's just able to shake it off so well, and she's done so tonight.
Service ace, Julia Costa goes into the printer of one of our SIDs, Frank Myra, gets bumped into the printer. He has a little bit of a freak out. He has an altercation with the ref. Nah, he's doing just fine. But that's a service ace for the Bombers off of a misfire from RIT, trying to attack our lovely SID. Served once again by Costa. Into the net. Won't go as a service ace, wasn't first touch. That being said, another serve from Julia Costa sends it into the net. It's a net foul. And now the Bombers are up 19-11. Costa for her third in a row. Delivers, cross court, hits the net. It's a service error. Julia Costa, the streak for the Bombers ends. They're up 19-12, the 7-point lead. But now it's going to be the libero, Haley Blixt, taking control for RIT. Dribbles a little bit. She's up, delivers. It's bumped up. Costa, a little bit of a mistake. Benedict has to bump it right back over the net. Set up by RIT, slammed down off of the net, but it ends up landing inbounds off the, or pardon me, it ended up going off the hands of an Ithaca defender, I believe. That was Ella Graper, and it falls out of bounds. Point RIT. It's 19-13. They cut the lead to 6. Once again, it's Blixt on the serve. Delivers. Set up by Benedict. Here's the attack. Reset by RIT. They send it back across in just 2 touches. Gonzalez Abreu can't send it back over the net. A quick miscommunication between her and Graper, and now RIT have cut it to 5.
And here comes Catherine Vento. We haven't said her name maybe as much as we would have expected with how good she's been on the kill, but 2 straight volleys where she gets involved.
Beautiful. Blixt to serve once again. Benedict sets it up once more. They're at the net. Gonzalez Abreu with the attack. It is blocked. Slammed down. Once again, Sam Clarkson. There it is. Catherine Vento splitting the block with her teammate. The defensive wall of RIT and Gonzalez Abreu. The cannon can go against her sometimes. So now it's going to be once again RIT back to serve. Blixt delivers. Dug out by Benedict. Set up by Ithaca. It's going to be just tapped over, and it's Sabatier, the return specialist. She's got a special job, and she punches it right over the net, and Ithaca halts the skid. They're back up by 5. It's 20-15. They need 5 more to make this an almost over match.
With how they've been serving tonight, it's only a matter of time if they're able to get in another streak.
Graper serves, delivered, RIT attacks, it's blocked, but RIT maintains possession. They're going to set it back up, go for a high attack, but it's going to be out of bounds. Macy Jolliffe had to reach a little far to get the high setup from her teammate. I believe that was Cox. Jumped a little high, got a little bit under the ball. It went out of bounds to the backcourt.
And if Anaya Prince is there, you're going to try to send it a little higher so she doesn't block it and just goes too high as Jolliffe.
Ithaca working as a cohesive unit tonight as Ithaca serves it back over. RIT returns. Ithaca sending it on the attack. Gonzalez Abreu, a little bit softer touch, so RIT is okay to dig it out. They attack. It's reset by Ithaca. Costa with the set. Gonzalez Abreu, again, soft touch. RIT returns it again. They're going to send it cross court. And it's going to be inbounds. Ella Graper didn't even go for it. Thought it was going out of bounds, but that is what RIT needed. That was a long rally. They've lost those all night tonight. Ithaca has been the more enduring team, but that cuts it to 21-16. They're not back in it yet, but man, do they still have fight.
Yeah, just found the corner there. Really accurate being able to get it in.
Jada Lee serves it cross court. It's going to be set up by Ithaca. Gonzalez Abreu blocked at the net, but she sets it up and sends it into the antenna. It's going to be an error from her, a net violation. She also crossed court, but I don't think she gets in trouble for that one. Got a little bit out of control at the moment. Ithaca starting to skid a little bit once again at 21-17. Jada Lee on the serve once again. This time it's high, it's bounced up by Ithaca. Miscommunication once again. Costa couldn't get under it. Gonzalez Abreu couldn't dig out her own teammate's mistake. And another point goes the way of RIT. It's 21-18.
Yeah, Costa with the one-arm dig. Clearly didn't want that, but again, that's that hesitation. Didn't fully commit to it right away and wasn't able to get under it.
Lee delivers once again. It's a little high. Dug out by Costa once again. Set up. There's the slam from Sabatier. And there's going to be a mistake there. Haley Blix, the libero, can't get under it, tries to get the one hand, bumps it out of bounds, out of reach of her own team. Costa has been grimacing a bit. I'm surprised she's still on the hardwood right now. That entire right thigh and hip are wrapped right now.
And I'll tell you what, if the Bombers take the second set, I don't anticipate us seeing Costa in the third.
Delivered by Ithaca, it's going to be tapped back over by RIT, but it's blown dead. I believe it's going to be a net violation. Net violation, RIT. Ithaca gets the point, and that halts the RIT winning streak. It's 23-18. Ithaca up by 5 once again.
It's a big net violation for the Bombers, just getting that momentum back. Again, 2 points away from taking the second set. And as you mentioned, it's not completely over. It's never over until it's over. But if Ithaca goes up 2-0, it certainly is going to be a tough hill for RIT.
Peyton Miller delivers. There's the slam from RIT. That looked very, very close. It's going to be called inside. The call is going to get reversed. It's called in. The point goes in favor of RIT. What a kill for Macy Jolliffe, having a very solid night. So it's going to be RIT back to serve. It's Jolliffe on the delivery. Cross court, Benedict sets it back up. Costa, second touch. Off the net, it goes out of bounds. Gonzalez Abreu hit it. It rolled off the net. It ended up going fully out of bounds. If it had dropped a little sooner, there was no Tigers in the area.
Just a tough roll off the net there, as you mentioned. Would have definitely been a kill had it not touched the net.
Jolliffe once again on the serve. Once again set up by Benedict. And this time Gonzalez Abreu sends it back over. RIT returns it cleanly again. It's slammed down by RIT, but it's dug out by Costa. Gonzalez Abreu once again into the net. It's going to be an attacking error on Gonzalez Abreu. Not her sharpest tonight. Maybe the sets haven't been as high as she'd like them to be, but one of these times she's going to have to get home. So now it's going to be Jolliffe back to serve again. She's looking across the court, sends it to the far side. It's going to be dug out by Ellie Benedict, and I think it's just going to have to safely get this across. Costa. It's a trickery, a little bit of trickery from RIT, and it goes out of bounds. Sydney Neff tried to hit it behind her back and just tap it in softly on second touch, but it ends up going out of bounds, and the point goes in favor of Ithaca. Now they're in set point, 24-21, and it's Gonzalez Abreu to serve.
I like the strategy, but we saw the risk and reward there. It was the risk that took over the reward because it goes out of bounds off the no-looker.
Gonzalez Abreu delivers, and it's going to be 4 touches by RIT. A mistake, not enough contact from Kat Vento. She can't get control. Ithaca flips the court once again. Second set goes 25-21. Ithaca in total control right now. And before we get to the third serve and we hand it back to Matt Giavoni, we're going to go right now to the third member of our team, Andrew Roberts. What you got?
Thanks, guys. Well, Ithaca officially 1 set away from the Liberty League Finals, and after the Liberty League tournament wraps up, the 64-team NCAA Division III volleyball tournament will begin. This year, the tournament will include 43 automatic bids and 21 at-large bids. Whoever wins the tournament this weekend will receive one of those automatic bids, but the rest of the teams will have to sit and wait to find out. The number of Liberty League teams to make it varies, but the conference has not sent out more than 1 team since 2021, when Ithaca and RIT both made it. This year, only Ithaca is nationally ranked, but William Smith has received votes. Back to you, Parker and Matt.
Thank you so much, Andrew Roberts down there on the sideline. You're listening to Ithaca Bomber Volleyball, the Liberty League semifinals here on VIC. Matthew Giavoni joined by Parker Hollandowner. And Parker, a little bit of a closer set in that second set. What did we see from RIT to get going, and do you think they have a chance to maybe claw their way back in and take a set here from Ithaca?
Well, it was something that Coach Stillwell has talked about a lot, which is them taking points away from themselves in terms of the Bombers. That being said, it's not like RIT was going to just roll over and take it. A lot of really good offensive possessions, but their defense came alive in a lot of key moments. The block was very, very solid. That is what you love to see from them. So far on the day, it has only been 4 total. Okay, that can't be right. The live stats can't be right on that one. Only 4 blocks. I think they've had more than that. Or maybe it's just, maybe it's only the ones that go for points. But that being said, I'm not going to fight with the computer. I'm just going to have a great time and say RIT's been playing great defense. They've been digging it out really well, and they've been passing the ball really effectively. A lot of Ithaca's mistakes have been on miscommunications and not setting it up for each other well. RIT has not had that problem tonight.
Something they struggled with a little bit, again, that miscommunication. What we saw was really good from Ithaca in that second set. Talk about the service line and what Ithaca's done in the serving game.
Ithaca's serving has been absolutely electric today. They've got 8 aces on the day of their 50 points they've scored so far. They've been electric. We saw 3 in a row from Wesley Slavin. She was having an absolutely electric time. That being said, she was still talking to Coach Stillwell like there was more she could be doing better. So this Ithaca team knows that they still have room room to improve. They know that Cortland game is still very nearby in their rearview mirror. Even if they end up taking this 3-0, they're not going to be satisfied until they hoist the trophy and see how deep they can go in the bracket.
And Coach Stowell, one of the nicest coaches here on the South Hill, but also, just like many other coaches here on the South Hill, not satisfied until the job is done. And even if they're able to get a 3-set sweep here, I'm sure that she's going to look right at the film and see what they could do better for William Smith tomorrow and eventually in the future in the NCAA playoffs.
Well, Coach Stowell knows what it is to be competitive as a player. As soon as she transferred to Ithaca, she was an Empire 8 champ, lost in the Liberty League Championship, but then went to the NCAA semifinals, and then lost the Liberty League semifinals, but went to the NCAA quarterfinals. She's been so deep in these brackets so many times, even when she hasn't had a lot of Liberty League championships to her name. She has not hoisted a Liberty League trophy as a player. Now she might get the chance to hoist one as a head coach if she is able to pull out this win and the win tomorrow against William Smith. But now we're going to see play resume.
In her first year as head coach as well, which just goes to show how smooth that transition from Johan Dolfer to Tara Stowell has been. As you mentioned, she's going to have the opportunity to make this team hers, but with the players that she already was coaching as an assistant here, she's been able to do some great things this season. It'll be Haley Blixt for the RIT Tigers getting things started on the left of the service line.
Last thing for Stillwell, she's also incredibly young. She was playing just a couple of years ago and yet has a lot of volleyball wisdom. It is the benefit of being a player. You see it across sports. Player coaches have become a much more important thing, and she's been great for this team.
Blixt sends it over. And yeah, Stillwell, the youth has been important, allows her to connect with her players a little bit more, and it's just different than Johan Dolfer, who a completely different coach. Graper slammed down. Blixt able to save for now, has to get it over, and it doesn't go. Fourth touch from Cox, and the Bombers will get things started in the third set, up 1-0 early.
Just a bit of a mistake from the Tigers there. They end up getting a reluctant fourth touch, are not able to get total control of that after a couple miscommunications.
Ella Graper, flat foot, sends it over. Neff sets up Vento, and Vento's slam, Costa wasn't able to dig it up.
We have to be critical for a second, Matt. Why is Costa still on the court? I do not want to say anything negative about this team, but I do have to question that decision. Why is she still playing? She is clearly still recovering from an injury. That leg is wrapped tightly, and she has been grimacing a couple times when taking tough digs. I would say pull her out and put one of your other great defensive specialists in.
Julia Costa, perhaps trying to get her back up to a high level. Gonzalez Abreu with another one of her really great slams, and the dig attempt goes all the way over the net out of bounds, so it will be Ithaca point 2-1 now.
I just saw Faith Sabatier politely waiting at the sideline to get tagged out. Peyton Miller checks back in to take the serve on the rotation.
Peyton Miller over the net, and Haley Blixt thought it was going out of bounds along with Madison Macco, but it stays in. A little bit of a miscommunication there. Ithaca and Peyton Miller to serve once again. That'll go as a service ace. Macco sends it up. Anaya Prince tries to get it down, but Blixt able to handle. Neff over. Gonzalez Abreu, a little bit of a basketball shot there and gets it in bounds.
There's the shot that needs to fall. Gonzalez Abreu hasn't been getting home with the slams today, but her ability to touch it over and find an open spot, her soft touches have been excellent tonight.
Peyton Miller sends it over once more. Sent up Neff. Slammed down Vento. And waiting for the confirmation, it does go Ithaca's way. That was out of bounds from Vento.
Vento, highest hitting percentage in the Liberty League, has not looked like it tonight, has had a little bit of trouble.
Neff sends it back over, is the Tigers, and Slavin able to just reach up there and send it down into a hole. The Bombers take a strong 6-1 lead in this third set, and immediately we're going to get a timeout from the Tigers.
Yeah, that one-handed scoop from Ithaca just to send it down. Slavin almost slammed it like a basketball. It was beautiful.
Wesley Slavin, definitely a strong night and a strong kill there. And with this timeout, we're going to send things down to our third member of our crew, Andrew Roberts. What do you got?
Thanks, guys. Well, all season long, this Bombers squad has been headlined by their duo of sophomore standouts, Naomi Klaus and Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu. Gonzalez-Abreu with 10 points on the day, and Klaus with 3.5. But they are the only two players on this team averaging more than 3 points and 3 kills per set. They also are each in the Liberty League's top 5 in both those categories. This has been seen before. Not too long ago, Aleka Darko and Thaïs Sabatier were the promising young duo on the South Hill, each averaging 3+ points of their own per set in 2022. While Darko has transferred, Sabatier remains a key part of this team, as Gonzalez-Abreu and Klaus should be for a while. Back to you, Parker and Matt.
Sophomore standouts for sure, and Parker, a little bit selfish for me. I wish we were going to be here the next 2 years as they continue to grow up. They're going to be just so good as this team continues to get older and plays more with each other.
Took it right out of my mouth, Matt. We've had the pleasure of calling games all across this great school in terms of different levels of athletes. We've seen a lot of legends. We've seen a lot of records be broken, but this young generation, they're kind of built different.
Miller sends it over, and that's going to go for a service ace. Not able to handle is Madison Mako.
Frozen by Mako and Blix. They both went for it, and a little bit of miscommunication there as it just goes right between them, finds the out of bounds.
Peyton Miller ready for her next serve. Thaïs Sabatier was do-si-doing down on the sideline. That caught my attention. With all the celebrations, sometimes you see it in your peripheral and just gets you a little distracted. Peyton Miller sends it over. Set back up. Neff. Slammed down, but a little too hard is Jalafi. She's had a good night, but that one goes too far.
Ithaca up 8-1 now. I'm not seeing the scoreboard change. They're waiting on it. Oh, we're waiting on the call. It ends up going RIT's way. They're saying it went off the hand of one of Ithaca's returners, but Tara Stillwell is going to contest it. She's talking to one of the refs right now. We might see the call get discussed once again. Looks like she's going to let it slide this time. She lets the ref off with a warning. RIT back to serve.
Benedict, the dig to Slavin. Prince, sent up for the moment by Jada Smith. Gerber sends it over, and the Bombers aren't able to handle.
That was a rare bad pass attempt by Wesley Slavin. She accidentally double touches it, gets the block, then tries to bump it back up out of the range of Gonzalez-Abreu. Didn't have anyone in the neighborhood. Now RIT gets it back.
Jalafi sent it over, back over by Slavin. Need to get it over here from Gerber. She slaps it over. Slavin, setter's dump. Bullseye.
That's what you want to see. Wes Slavin only with 28 kills on the year, but it's a lot of pretty ones like that and that scoop and score that you saw just before. She can be very effective offensively, even though she prefers to be out here flaunting her 760 assists.
And I'll shout out VSID Frank Myra down there. He said it was a sneak attack, and that's sure the best way to describe it. Neff to Gerber, and that one goes down, and they call it in for RIT.
I've had one in my pocket. I just keep forgetting to use it, and I'm not on the call anymore. I wanted to do Wes Slavin's new Nightmare. Do you watch any horror films? Wes Craven, the creator of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Unfortunately, that reference goes over my head. Not a big movie guy, but Wesley Slavin, certainly a nightmare to this RIT team tonight.
Spinning off the net.
And Naomi Claus sends it just a little too far.
Back from 7-1, all of a sudden it's 8-5. Ithaca's still ahead by 3, but at some point Tara Stillwell might want to use a timeout.
Catherine Vento on the serve. Gonzalez-Abreu first to touch it. Slavin slaps it up, and it just barely touches the antenna from Anaya Prince. I thought she got it over for a second, but definitely saw the wiggle on the antenna. And as you mentioned, was 7-1. It's now 8-6 in favor of Ithaca, and not seeing that timeout yet, but the Bombers certainly letting RIT back into this third set a little bit. Vento sends it over. Peyton Miller the first to touch it to Slavin. There's Claus into a block. Slavin to Prince. Peyton Miller just touches it over. Neff to MSC. That's Slavin to Claus. Neff to Gerber, blocked by Prince. RIT gets it over. Benedict to Slavin, and Slavin with the setter's dump. Still to Slavin, to Claus, and it's still going. Eventually finds the hardwood, and RIT, and a volley that took seemingly forever, brings it within 1.
I didn't count, but that crossed the net more than 10 times, 100%. That changed possession about as many times as it can in a rally, and those are the points that RIT needs to get because they need to start wearing this Ithaca team down.
Catherine Vento sends it over. Slavin to Claus. She finally finds hardwood. We saw in that last volley a couple of times Claus wasn't able to get it down there. She does now.
Some half-hearted celebration on the Ithaca sideline. They might be thinking to themselves, why are we not home already back in our locker room?
Looking forward to maybe a post-game dance party are the Bombers if they're able to clean up here. RIT, Gerber sends it back over. Peyton Miller to Wesley Slavin. There's Naomi Claus, and she gets it down again. The sophomore, Andrew Roberts talked about it. She's a star, and she's starting to heat up here in this third set.
That is what we needed to see from her over the course of this entire game. She had a couple of mistakes earlier, a couple of attacking errors, but she has been a lot better in this third set.
Benedict sends it over. Blixt to Gerber, blocked. And it goes out of bounds. Sent back over for the moment by RIT, but out of bounds. And Ithaca now starting to pull away again, 11-7.
That defensive combination at the net, Graper and Slavin, and now, Klaus is joining them at the net. That's going to be an absolute wall.
Jada Smith kept it in. And sent out by the Bombers.
Well, sometimes when you're playing wall ball with yourself, it goes the wrong way. It happens. Naomi Klaus gets a hand on it, but sends it out the wrong direction.
You don't get all of them, and Naomi Claus is a good enough player to get most of them. Gonzalez Abreu with the dig there. Graper sends it over. Back the other way. Peyton Miller, Wesley Slavin, Naomi Claus. Blixt keeps it alive. RIT needs to send it over. They do. That was Jaloff. Slavin to Claus. Claus got it down.
I can't believe RIT kept that alive as long as they did. A great offensive possession by Ithaca, but RIT able to keep themselves in it longer than they had any business staying in that point.
Wesley Slavin to serve now, and in that second set, 3 service aces in a row. Maybe she tries to go for 4 here. Her first serve. It's not going to be a service ace as it gets slammed down.
Even if it hadn't, Gonzalez Abreu punched the ball a little bit trying to stop its momentum. It was going to be in. That being said, that point was going against Ithaca either way. A great punch by RIT, and now the Ithaca leads back to 3.
That was Mia Gerber. We've seen her hit into a couple of blocks a couple of times. Sent over by RIT. Benedict to dig. Slavin to set. Claus to slam. And RIT can't handle. Julia Costa comes back in. Naomi Claus goes to take a breather.
Has a little dance with the coaches.
Having just a fun time down there are the Ithaca Bombers. Naomi Claus really did just have a dance with the coaches. You don't see that in many other sports. Blixt to Jaloff. Blocked. Blixt sends it up the other way. Neff. Other side now. Benedict digs. Slavin sets. Sabatier touches. Blixt got the dig. Jaloff sends it back over. Costa to Slavin. Graper slams it down.
RIT is so tough. That's going to be a net violation against RIT. It's going to be a mistake from them. The point's going to go in favor of Ithaca, but RIT and the Tigers are so tough. They are hanging in these points so long. Even if they make a mistake, they are fighting their way through it.
And Parker, thankfully you caught that. I was so mesmerized by the almost eventual slap down by Ella Graper. And Julia Costa comes in now, service ace. Talk about having a night from the service line for the Bombers, and in the playoffs, they're going to want to continue that momentum. Julia Costa, Bombers up 15-9 now, as she looks for maybe her second in a row. To the left of the service line, Julia Costa sends it over. Blixt with the dig. Neff sets it up. Slammed down by Cox, but kept alive by the Bombers. Benedict to Sabatier. Blixt. Neff. Jaloff. And Jaloff got it down.
That ball got lost in the rafters a little bit. That is something that stung RIT last time they were here in Ben Lake Gymnasium. This time they're able to adjust for it and get possession back. Now it's only a 5-point lead.
Great communication on that one for sure. Here comes Haley Blixt. Sends it over. Benedict with the dig. Set up by Slavin. Sabatier into the block, but it goes down on RIT's side.
I will point out at this point, yes, there hasn't been a strong momentum shift in favor of Ithaca. It has been back and forth, but they're still up by 6, and RIT is sitting on 2 timeouts. I do have to wonder if Jim Lotus just doesn't want to prolong the inevitable.
Coach Lotus We'll see what he decides to do with those. Vento sends it over. Slavin to Sabatier. Slavin's found Sabatier on the past couple, and she's going to get the kill there as RIT can't handle.
Faith Sabatier so ruthlessly efficient. When she gets touches, it's going to get home. We talked about it earlier in the broadcast, and she has been brutal. And now the timeout goes for RIT. My announcer's jinx is just burning today. Somebody's ears are on fire, and now there's going to be stoppage.
This is Jim Lotus getting ready to give his players some sort of advice, trying to get them back in. Down 7 now, 17-10 in this third set. And with that, we'll send things down to Andrew Roberts.
Thanks, guys. Well, we are approaching the home stretch of this set right here. Ithaca up 17-10. And how about Naomi Klaus really stepping it up in this third set? And she had 4 kills in a very short period of time, coming in off the bench, and now just, a huge impact for this Bombers team. And now they are 8 points away from claiming victory here. We'll see if RIT has anything to say about that. Back to you guys.
As he mentioned, just 8 points away, and a strong set as he keeps, as Andrews touched on a couple of times, this sophomore class, just insane. Ella Graper getting ready to serve. One of the only Bombers to do a flat-footed serve here. She's on the left of the service line.
I got to give a quick shout out to the Ben Light DJ. I don't know who's running the music tonight, but it has been great. Whenever we're not on the call, I've been grooving.
Absolutely. Some nights they have a live DJ in here. Tonight it is just a playlist as it gets sent over. Jaloff to Cox. She just has to give a free ball. Costa to Slavin to Prince. Blixt handles Neff and tries to slam it. It's Jaloff, but doesn't get it over the net.
Macy Jolliffe with a attacking air sends it right into the net. Would have been the antenna if it was a little higher. Altogether, a lost possession by RIT. They're now down by 8.
Ella Graper, flat-footed serve, gets it over. Blixt to Neff, and just touched over by Vento. Looked like she was trying to set up Jolliffe. Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu sends that one over. Samantha Cox lost it, and the Bombers up 19-10 now.
Now, I will say, I don't think that last timeout's getting used for RIT. They're down by 9, 6 points to go for Ithaca.
Ella Graper to serve once again, and certainly RIT would need to get possession at least back for it to make sense for Coach Lotus to potentially use that last timeout. Graper sends it over. Free ball for the Bombers. Costa to save. Gonzalez-Abreu pushes it over, but they're going to call a double touch.
Rare mistake by Ithaca making those on-court errors. They usually don't make them when they're not touching the ball. The mistake by Ithaca halts the momentum, halts the speeding train, and now RIT with a chance to get a little bit back with Jada Lee back to serve.
Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu slaps it one-handed so much. It's almost just weird for her to do the two-handed dump-off like she tried to do there. Neff now to Vento, and Vento finds a hole.
I got to point out, Jada Lee has not served much tonight, but she is the leader on this team in service errors. She hasn't had one yet tonight. Maybe my announcer's jinx comes back into play. I'm not hoping for it, but I am going to point it out.
Jada Lee, the team's actually performed very well when she has served tonight, just as a team in general. Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu sends it over. Blixt with the dig. One more time, Jaloff. Wesley Slavin, Anaya Prince finds the corner. And Ithaca now 5 points away from taking this game.
An explosion on the Ithaca sideline. Not literally, I promise you folks. Everyone jumps into a quick little rave pile, puts their hands in, and jumps backward. They're getting very hype as Faith Sabatier checks out of the game.
Peyton Miller checks in, trying to finish on her serve. Jaloff sends it too far. And Peyton Miller potentially 4 serves away from icing this one.
Jolliffe has a lot of kills to her name, but a hitting percentage just above 115. She's not very efficient.
Setter's dumped by Neff. Benedict just has to send it over. Neff once again. Vento. Benedict with the dig. Slavin setter's dump now. Blixt sets it back up. Gerber sends it over. Slavin to Gonzalez-Abreu into the block. Touches hardwood.
Once again, the RIT block comes into play. Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu is one of the most deadly offensive players in the Liberty League, if not in D3 volleyball. But against this RIT team, she may have found her kryptonite.
To serve now. Sends it over. Prince just had to touch that one, didn't have to slam it, and it'll go back to the Bombers' side.
Absolutely despicable work by Anaya Prince. She's been on tonight. She's had a very, very good time. Not as dominant as she would have liked to be. Only 6 kills to her name. But hey, only 6 kills in the Liberty League tournament is still pretty darn good, Matt.
Gabby Gonzalez-Abreu to serve now, and she sends it into the net. A mistake from her gives RIT another chance from the service line. Here comes Catherine Vento.
Gabby Gonzalez-Abreu, one of those players that has a negative ratio when it comes to that. 21 service aces, 25 service errors coming into tonight.
Peyton Miller got down for a low dig. She sets it up now to Naomi Claus, isn't able to get the kill. Gerber, dug out by Gonzalez-Abreu. Claus now, dug out by Vento in the backcourt. Sent over by RIT. Benedict to Slavin, to Claus, and she finds the corner. The Bombers have found that back right corner a lot in this third set, and it's been their friend.
Tara Stillwell talked a lot about sticking to the game plan and executing. It seems like the Bombers had theirs tonight, and they've been dominant because of it.
Ellie Benedict sends it over. Gonzalez-Abreu isn't able to get that low for that dig.
Can't dig it out. It's been the story a couple times tonight.
Sydney Neff for the serve now. RIT in a large uphill battle if they want to come back and win this game, or even take the set. Setter's dump from Slavin, and she's got it. Game point, and Slavin's up to serve.
Game point, match point here. Ithaca has a chance to send it home. They have a 9-point lead. Like I said, Jim Lotus did not take a timeout. It's gonna be Slavin back to serve. She's got the aces on the day.
Wesley Slavin touches the net. Recovered by Neff, sends it up. Gerber slammed it down. And RIT lives to fight another volley.
I was going to say by the skin of their teeth, but they're hanging on. They're still down by 8. They're going to need a whole lot of momentum, and they send back Madison Macco to serve. She's got 34 aces on the year to just 20 errors. This looks like the right play.
Macco gets it over. Dave Sabatier, first touch. Slavin, second touch. Claus doesn't get it down for now. Neff to Blixt, over to Cox. Slavin. Bella Graper ends things. And it could have been one of many Bombers, as they have so many playmakers. But Ella Graper, a strong first set and a strong slam to end the last set.
And the Bombers are going to the Liberty League Championship game once again. They will face the William Smith Herons after a dominant 3-set win over the RIT Tigers. They sweep them on the season. They are now 9-0 against Liberty League teams this year, have still only given up 3 sets. Didn't give up a single one to the RIT Tigers. I believe Andrew talked about it earlier. That may be 17 in a row now against the Tigers. This team just dominated a Liberty League opponent, and now they have a chance to hoist the first trophy of Tara Stillwell's coaching career.
And Parker, when we talked to Coach Stillwell earlier in the week and asked her, what opponent would you like to see in that championship? A little bit of a unique answer. Some would think that maybe it's the 3-seed Clarkson, but she said William Smith gives them a better look at what their potential NCAA playoff opponents are going to play like, as they had a stronger regular season. So she wanted to see William Smith to get that experience in the Liberty League Championship before the NCAA playoffs, and she's going to get her wish.
Well, I asked her a bit of a hairline question about the fact that Ithaca, frankly, either sweeps teams or gets swept. They've been swept 3 or 4 times this year, and they're not happy about it. That being said, she pointed out that most of those sweeps were against ranked teams, some of the best in the country, and she wants to continue to get that experience against the best of the best. The Herons are the number 2 team in the conference, and they are that with a bullet. They've been that very effectively. Although Ithaca is the superpower, the Herons will give them a challenge tomorrow. That being said, after a game that went 5 sets a little bit earlier, they're going to be a lot more tired than Ithaca is after taking all 3 sets from the Tigers.
Absolutely, and look at head coach Tara Stillwell in the huddle right now. The Bombers, William Smith went right to celebrating, taking pictures after their game. Tara Stillwell breaking things down with her team. The championship is tomorrow. They don't have a week to kind of get ready and get into some practices. She's going in right now, getting them in the right headspace. The Cortica Jug, biggest little game in the nation, coming up tomorrow, but a very big day for volleyball as well. And we hope as many people as possible can tune in to that game as well, as it'll be covered on the Bombers Athletic stream.
Matt, if you don't stop plugging, we're still locked in on the Liberty League Championship here in women's volleyball. They're going to start taking the nets down. They're happy with the win. That being said, it's still all business. They are not satisfied with 25-10, 25-21, 25-16. That second set is definitely sticking in Coach Stillwell's head. Right now, she is having a long conversation with Gabby Gonzalez-Abreu, who struggled today, had a rougher time. You know, she still led the team in kills because she's Gabby Gonzalez-Abreu. That being said, this was not the day she wanted to have. Now it's going to be Coach Stillwell. She's had a lot of conversations with her team. She's happy with the win. That being said, she's not necessarily happy with all of the way they played. It's going to be Andrew Roberts down to talk with her in a little bit. But Matt, before that, just give me a little bit more about what you thought about this game.
Well, just an incredible performance for the Bombers, and again, there's things to work on. We've already mentioned Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu hit it into the net a few times that maybe she would have liked to either get it a little higher. Obviously, you don't want as many errors. You don't want any errors, but you don't want as many errors as she maybe had on her stat sheet today, but something that she's going to look to get right. And of course, we've talked about this strong sophomore class on the Bombers so much today. She's going to get things right potentially tomorrow, definitely for those NCAA playoffs.
Well, Gonzalez-Abreu led the team in a couple things you do not want to lead them in, one that you do. Obviously, she's happy that she led the team with 11 kills. That is a good thing. That being said, she also had 30 total attacks and 9 errors on the day, plus 2 service errors. She cost the Bombers 11 points. If you are the best player on your team, you cannot be giving up that much. That being said, let's sing the praises of a couple other great players. Ellie Benedict led the team with 10 digs, was absolutely dominant on defense. Wes Slavin was excellent, 35 assists on the day, continues one of her best seasons of her career. She's been great. Yeah, that's about it, Matt.
Well, you got to talk about maybe not on the stat sheet, but Ella Graper as well just has a great game, and somebody that they're happy is getting healthy at the right time, right before the playoffs. And Tara Stowell, lots of people want to talk to her, but our own Andrew Roberts has her down on the sideline.
Thanks, guys. I am here with the volleyball coach for Ithaca College, Tara Stillwell. And Tara, your first win in a Liberty League tournament. How's it feel?
Feels great. Yeah, no, I'm very proud of them.
Yeah, and I mean, the blocking up front was a huge part of this win. Ella Graper faced Sabatier, Anaya Prince. How'd that set the tone early on for the team?
Oh, the blocking was fantastic. It set the tone because we talked about our game plan and we followed the game plan, and it's a game changer. As a hitter, if you get blocked that many times, then you start to freak out, and then that changes the rest of the game for us.
Yeah. Set.
We needed to stop making errors. That was the adjustment we had to make. That second set was a lot of our own mistakes. We kind of got complacent and comfortable, and so third set it was focusing on not doing that.
And I think that third set was very impressive by you guys. Naomi Klaus making a big impact with a bunch of kills early on in that. How was she in that set for you guys?
To be honest, she started off really slow, so we didn't know what was kind of going on, and then she came off the bench and I said, welcome to the party, because she came out of nowhere, so good for her, like working herself out of that.
Yeah, and I mean, first year as a head coach of this team, but you were here as an assistant in the past, helped recruit some of these players. Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu came in, Klaus came in. How does it feel to be back coaching them?
Fantastic. I love all the girls on the team. Everyone except for the freshmen I had some sort of connection with beforehand, which is great. Made the transition a lot easier, and it makes coaching them even more fun.
Anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm so awkward sometimes.
Okay, well, good luck in the Liberty League Championship game tomorrow. We'll send it back up to you guys, Parker and Matt.
Andrew, thank you so much. Coach Tara Stillwell, thank you so much. You were excellent. She's saying sorry for being a little awkward on the air. That being said, she has adjusted great to the Ithaca culture where you are constantly bombarded with very annoying sports media students like you and me, Matt. It was a great game, but as we wrap up, thank you so much for tuning in here on VIC Radio. Special thanks to our manager of television and radio operations, Reese Finch, our sports director, Tobias Zabore, the athletics director, Susan Bassett, Justin Lutz, the all-powerful Frank Myra, and the entire athletic communications staff. Also, thank you to VIC station manager Ava Berardi, and for our outstanding field producer Mia Valencia, and our studio producer Sarah Stark. Alongside Matt Chavoni, I'm Parker Hollander saying so long from Ben Light Gymnasium. Coming up on the post-game show, you're going to hear from Jonathan Falco and Morgan Spriggs, so stay with us. Coverage of Ithaca Volleyball will be right back here on VIC Radio.
Perfect.
For the second time in under a week, Ithaca will face William Smith on the South Hill for a Liberty League championship. Sunday was women's soccer, but tomorrow will be for the volleyball crown. Ithaca sweeps RIT in 3 convincing sets to advance to the Liberty League championship game tomorrow. The Bombers have now won 15 consecutive sets over the Tigers. With Jonathan Falco, I'm Morgan Spriggs, wrapping up this eventful day in Liberty League volleyball at Ben Light Gymnasium. And Jonathan, the Bombers did not show any weakness from the jump, like there was some fear that there would be. Why do you think that is, and what does that show for IC's conference hopes tomorrow?
Well, it's simple. The Bombers came in as the better team. They're the number 1 team in the Liberty League in my eyes for a reason. They come in with dominance and left Ben Light Gymnasium with dominance today, completely sweeping their Liberty League rival in the RIT Tigers. Nothing short of incredible today. For number 1 to number 5 seed matchup, Ithaca just showed dominance from the first set to the last. It's just incredible.
We both picked Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu before the game to be the most valuable player of the semifinal. In your opinion, did she come through in that prediction?
It's not an opinion, Morgan. It's a fact. She absolutely did. Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu was indubitably the MVP for this Bombers team, hitting 11 kills on the day. She was absolutely incredible. Not as impressive as Malia Sayer was earlier today for William Smith, but regardless, she did what she needed to do, and it was nothing short of incredible.
What is a player repping the blue and white that was an under-the-radar contributor for the Bombers? Who is a player that maybe wasn't super flashy, maybe wasn't one of the leaders in scoring, but was a player that it was going to be really important for the Bombers to win on Sunday? Saturday, excuse me.
You're all good. I can't narrow it down to one. I can narrow it down to 2, though. One of them being Faith Sabatier, with 8 total kills. She had an under-the-radar game, in my opinion. But the other one, Santa Claus delivers presents in December. Naomi Claus, however, delivers them in November. She has been incredible, not only just in this game, but this season. Naomi Claus with 8 total kills, as well as Sabatier. So 2 are the under-the-radar people. We mentioned Gabriela Gonzalez-Abreu a lot in the pregame analysis, but these are the 2 players. I mentioned Faith Sabatier in the pre-show because I know how incredible she is. I think both of us know how incredible she is. Same with Naomi Claus, and those are my 2 picks.
Did you think of that on the fly?
Maybe.
That was really impressive. Anyway, the Bombers will stay at home to face the Herons tomorrow afternoon for the conference championship in a best-of-5 bout. How much of a factor, if at all, was this home court advantage and crowd in Ithaca's resounding triumph today?
It was a huge factor because a few hours ago it was William Smith and Clarkson. There wasn't nearly as many people as there were here for the Bombers. The entire left side of Ben Light Gymnasium was filled with Bombers fans, students, parents, you name it, they were there. On the right side, obviously not as much for RIT but regardless, the Ithaca had the home field advantage, and they will tomorrow in the Liberty League Championship against William Smith. And that should be a concern for William Smith.
Tara Stillwell is 1 win away from leading her team to a Liberty League title in her inaugural campaign and an NCAA tournament berth. How impressive has her coaching been this year for Ithaca?
Nothing short of spectacular. In your first season alone, you bring this powerhouse, an incredible powerhouse of a team in the Ithaca Bombers into another Liberty League championship opportunity against William Smith, a team that they are very familiar with. As we mentioned in the pre-show, played before. Ithaca's already beaten them, so they know the fundamentals of how to beat this William Smith Herons team, and it's going to be an incredible matchup. I cannot wait for that. But back on the coaching perspective, though, she is just incredible. Okay, you realize, like, it's not just the players, it's the coaching as well. Coaching it plays just as important of a factor as the people, as the personnel on the court at all times, regardless of sport. She's certainly an under the radar pick. We mentioned under the radar players. She's an under the radar person that certainly factored in this Bombers win today.
Now, let's preview the game against the Herons for the Ithaca Bombers. It'll be for the Liberty League title. It'll be for an automatic berth in the D3 tournament. And what are you looking for Ithaca to continue to do to take the Liberty League crown for the third straight year?
Well, first off, must I say, I mean, this was the matchup I was looking forward to. I mean, everyone was expecting, but now we're all looking forward to it because it's in the books now. It's going to be Ithaca. It's going to be William Smith in a clash of the champions. Two of the best teams in the Liberty League. This is practically like the World Series that happened this year. Aaron Judge and the Yankees, Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. Now it's Gabriela Gonzalez and Ithaca versus Melia Sayer and William Smith. It's going to be electric. But now back to the Bombers side of things, as you mentioned. Just surrounding Gabriela Gonzalez Abreu with exceptional personnel like they have all season. And we're sticking to the basics. Don't panic that this is a Liberty League championship opportunity. As tough as easier said than done, it really is important because you can't be sitting there panicking and making crucial mistakes like Clarkson was today. Because Clarkson, they took the first set and then they started to struggle a little bit. But now, if you're Ithaca, you cannot just go into this game expecting to win like they were the last time they matched up. Because granted they beat them this season, but anything could happen. This is an excellent William Smith team, especially with Melia Sayer at the helm. She's been incredible this season, so you can't overlook her regardless.
Right. Ithaca played William Smith back in October. It was a close 5-set battle. And for William Smith, what do they need to do to pull off the win and pull off a spot in the Liberty League in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, in the D3 tournament, I mean, that is an incredible reward, not only just winning the Liberty League championship, but going on to a potential D3 championship run. But William Smith, just let Melia Sayer cook, okay? Because that's literally what happened today against Clarkson. In all 5 sets, she was unstoppable. She was the MVP of that team, of the William Smith Herons, and I think she's going to be tomorrow when these two teams face off. Like I said, these are two powerhouses, and it's not just Gabriela Gonzalez Abreu and Melia Sayer. These are two deep teams that could easily go toe-to-toe with each other, and that can go 5 games as well, like it was earlier in the season.
One last question for you, Jonathan, before we wrap it up. I need a prediction for you for tomorrow. William Smith or Ithaca, and in how many sets?
The sets part is easy. It's definitely going to 5. I don't see it going any less than that. These are two of the best teams in not only the Liberty League, but in D3 volleyball. Like, these are two intense teams. They play gritty. They play aggressive, but when they're faced with a lot of pressure, they're calm, cool, and collected. So I'm very excited to see how this works out. Honestly, the winner of this game is a coin flip. It could definitely go either way, but you cannot count out Gabriela Gonzalez Abreu. You cannot count out Faith Sabatier, and you cannot count out Naomi Claus and the rest of that crew and the rest of that team for the Ithaca Bombers. So I'm going to say the Ithaca Bombers win in 5 and take the Liberty League championship.
All right, well, the Liberty League Championship will be 2 o'clock tomorrow, and I would like to say a special thank you to our Manager of Television and Radio Operations, Reese Finch. Other thank yous are for Sports Director Toby Zabora, Athletics Director Susan Bassett, Justin Lutz, the all-powerful Frank Myra, and the entire Athletics Communication staff. Another thank you is to VIC Station Manager Ava Berardi, for our outstanding field producer Mia Valencia, and studio producer Sarah Stark. Alongside Jonathan Falco, I'm Morgan Spriggs saying so long from Ben Light Gymnasium here on VIC Radio. Have a great rest of your Friday evening.